Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to break down my projected income or revenue for 2021, sort of my strategy, what I'm doing, and hopefully this video can be of some value to you. I don't want this video to come off as if like I'm gloating or bragging in any way, but it's more so to just kind of break down what it is that I'm doing. As you know, this channel is about personal finance. We talk about business. And so I just thought it was appropriate to sort of be transparent with you on what I'm doing with this personal brand and kind of how we're getting to that $1 million mark for 2021. So if you like videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And you can also drop a like on the video. It'd make my day. So thank you. And let's get started here. Now, really, primarily for the most part, all of this $1 million is going to come from my trust fund, which kicks in next year. And this, God, I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up. This isn't funny. I don't have a trust fund. I guess it would have been nice, but nobody ever thought of that for me. So, but there's really 4 different sources that this is coming from to get to that mark. I really think it's pretty feasible. And like I said, I'm probably gonna say this like 5 times, but I just want to be careful with this video because I don't want it to come off as like, look at me, like, you know, or some type of thing like that. And of course, I'm not selling you anything, so it's not going to be like me going through talking about making money and then at the end just stuffing some course down your throat they have to pay $1,000 for and probably never make your money back on it. That's not the purpose of this. I don't sell anything. Okay, so maybe you saw my retirement video about a couple months ago. I made a video about my plan to retire at 24. It kind of lines up with that. So if you haven't seen that video yet, you'll probably want to watch it afterwards to see kind of where this all lines up and why it is that I'm doing what I'm doing. But basically trying to make a few $1 million in a very short period of time and then sort of be able to coast or try to basically just cruise through the rest of my life without having to worry about, you know, how I'm going to put food on the table. And that's basically the plan. You know, I'm sure it'll go wrong at some point, but that's basically the plan for now, okay? So I also want to mention just before we start with talking about these 4 different revenue sources and projections and also looking at 2020 numbers, but I also just want to say quickly that I'm really not very smart. Like if you look at my grades in school and my SATs and everything else. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I just want to make it very clear that I think it's very possible for anybody to do something like what I've been doing in just the past couple of years. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be very smart. I mean, like I said, I'm really not that smart. I don't think I'm stupid. So I just wanted to say that as well, because sometimes we think, oh, you know, this is not very possible, but it very much is. Okay, so let's talk about these different sources of revenue. And the first one, to maybe surprising to some, but maybe not so much to others, is actually YouTube ad revenue from this channel, which has gotten kind of wild in the past couple of years. And this is because ad rates on YouTube for the finance niche have sort of exploded in terms of value from the ad rates, okay? So I'll break this down as easy as possible, but basically from this channel, I'll pull up some of my ads from this year, but you can see that in the past 365 days, my average CPM was about $25.18. And if we go to, let's say just the month of October, my ad rates look like they were, hold on. My ad rates look like they were about $33.09 per 1,000 views that you earn from YouTube, right? Now, this is not the whole picture. YouTube does take a cut of this, and then also Uncle Sam takes a cut of this as well for taxes. So this isn't all the money that you end up with at the end of the day to go spend, but it is considerably higher than I think what people would assume people might make on YouTube. There's 2 reasons for this. One, because most YouTubers just kind of downplay how much they make, especially like the big people like Shane Dawson and David Dobrik, and everybody just talk about how they're poor. I guarantee they're making millions of dollars. But also because ad rates in the past, they have been low, but now they are much higher because we're in 2020 or we're going into 2021 here. And so historically, you know, people just think YouTube, you make $1 per 1,000 views on YouTube. Yes, that's probably what people made in 2010, but that's not what is occurring going into the 2020s here, 2021, 2022. That's not what is occurring because companies are dumping billions of dollars into YouTube ads now. And so because I talk about finance, and if this sounds a little bit too good to be true, you can go and just look at some other finance YouTubers, and it's not like we're all in on this like faking everybody out. There's probably almost thousands of finance YouTubers now, that you can look up and see their ad rates, and you can see that a lot of them, their average CPMs are somewhere between $20 and $40 per 1,000 views, which basically means that for 1 million views, you're getting maybe about $30,000 because it's very focused on finance. You know, if you're talking about minimalism, for example, I have videos about minimalism that I make about $8 per 1,000 views because no company wants to run an ad on my video where I talk about minimalism and not buying anything. Companies don't want to run ads on that. And so that's something that's important to notice here. So overall, you know, we can look at a couple of months here. You can see in October it was about $31,000. In September it was, let's see, about $44,000 in total revenue. That's also including some sponsored deals that were through Brand Connect. I can't really talk about the specifics of those for some pretty obvious reasons. Signed a lot of contracts there. But yes, anywhere between like $30,000 and $45,000 per month is what the ad revenue has been from this channel. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, you can just go verify that with like any other finance YouTuber. So assuming that I can keep the revenue numbers relatively similar for 2021 as they were in 2020, I'm thinking that ad revenue should be about $500,000. I don't like to rely upon it because honestly, I'm on rented land here. I mean, YouTube one day could say, Nate, we don't like you anymore, we're taking your channel away. Or they could say, you know what, we're not gonna run ads on your video anymore. I saw Nelk made like 23 cents in YouTube ads from millions of views because nobody wanted to run ads on their videos because they weren't suitable for advertisers, okay? And also there was something like the Adpocalypse back in 2017. I remember this, I was just starting my channel at the time, where companies pulled all of their ads from YouTube and ad rates plummeted. And so I can't really rely on ads on YouTube. It's very fluctuating. I mean, some months it'll be much higher than others, and it's not a steady source of income for most YouTubers going into the future. So probably, hopefully about $500,000, assuming that I can sort of scale up a little bit more, keep it going, kind of keep it at the consistent growth that we've had over the past couple of years. So the next source of projected revenue for next year will be from sponsorships. So in 2020, I only did about maybe 4 or 5 sponsored videos in total over the course of the year. That's because I just don't like to do too many of them. I think it can get watered down. And also, I'm not going to promote a company that I don't actually use myself and that I don't actually find value in it, because I just think that would be bad for the brand. Sometimes I see influencers doing that where they're like stuffing like some like CBD oils down your throat, and they're just like, you need to buy this CBD or this protein powder or something, when they probably don't even use it themselves. I think the viewer can really see through that, so I don't really do a lot of sponsorships. But also going back to the idea of how YouTubers or influencers are poor, I really don't know where this narrative came from, but I can tell you that if somebody has 100,000 followers on Instagram, they can probably be getting $5,000 or more for an Instagram post. And that's not a joke. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I personally wouldn't touch anything less than that. And I know a lot of other people who wouldn't touch anything less than that either. And it's just based off of the amount of money that companies are willing to pay. And I can just tell you that so many influencers, even today, if you're an influencer and you're watching this, people are undercharging. They're getting like $300 for an Instagram post when they can get many, many thousands of dollars. And that goes with YouTube videos as well. 5 figures, multiple 5 figures for a sponsored video. That's just the world that we live in today. I mean, if people know what they're doing, that's what they'll be getting. And that's that. I mean, so yeah, overall sponsorships should make up hopefully about $250,000 or more for 2021. It really depends on how much of them I do in the year, but I'm probably not going to do too many, maybe just a handful, and we should get to around, hopefully, that $250,000 mark. We'll see how many we need to do for that. And then on top of that, there's 2 other revenue sources here. One of them is hopefully from some type of physical product. You know that I don't sell online courses. I know people who make millions from that. I'm just a believer in free information, but I do think some type of physical product would be great to add to the arsenal as well. So if we could find a way, hopefully I'm going to find a way to create some type of physical product that really aligns with my brand. So some type of journal or budget planner or something in between, I think would be really great to be able to offer to the viewers here on this channel. Let me know your thoughts down below as well if you have any ideas of a physical product that I could sell. And I think this is a great strategy for influencers as well, to sort of be able to branch off and have like separate sub-brands. I know Peter McKinnon did that with like a backpack brand. And Graham Stephan was just talking about potentially starting some type of coffee brand for his personal brand, that he can create a sub-brand. And I think this is a really good route to take because eventually people aren't going to care about what I have to say. Nobody's going to know who Nate O'Brien is. I'm going to be washed up. There's going to be a lot of other people who come along and just make way better videos, way better content. And so you can't really rely on a personal brand forever unless you're really, really diligent about it, but it's going to be difficult to do that. So that's why it's important to create some separate sub-brands. So if I create like a budget planner brand and then I can build that up and then I can sell that or I can run that without me having to be the face of it, that's kind of the strategy there. So hopefully we can maybe make a couple $100,000 in 2021 from that. I think it's very possible, very feasible based off of some of the numbers that I've been talking with some other people who have rolled out physical products. And now there's really only one other source of income that's going to align with this personal brand, and that is from affiliates. So for example, if you click on the links below and maybe you open up an account with Robinhood, which is one of the affiliates that I have for my channel, then they end up paying me for basically giving them a new customer, a new client, and they end up paying me. I can't talk about how much they pay me, but overall, from affiliates, with affiliates combined with sponsors, combined with physical product, combined with ads, should bring me well over the $1 million mark for 2021. Now, of course, that's not including taxes, so taxes are going to take out close to half, and then you walk away with still a decent amount, but there is a difference between income and wealth. I just do want to verify that as well. But overall, yeah, that's my plan. I just wanted to be transparent about this. Like I said before too, I really think that following the money too much ends up just throwing people off. And so my goals are never money oriented. It's more so like this byproduct of getting views or getting exposure. It's sort of like this positive externality from whatever it is that I do. And it's sort of like this little bonus, this cherry on top thing, rather than like the sole purpose of just making money. Because I don't think you would get very far with that idea, or at least I just wouldn't sleep well at night if that was like my primary focus of just like making money off of people. So I briefly want to talk about luck versus skill, because I honestly think that probably anything that I'm doing right now is probably 90% luck, 10% skill. Maybe if I want to be nice, I can say 80% luck, 20% skill. But what I mean by this is that I think with this channel, with this personal brand, I got really lucky that I stumbled into it at a time when there weren't any finance videos. So right now, my channel's sort of at like the maturity level. I've been making videos for like 3.5 years, but there were like 4 people making finance videos when I started. So I got really lucky that I was early to it, and there's always going to be things that you can be early to as well, and that's kind of the idea that I wanted to drive across here, that sometimes the stars will align and you'll find this opportunity, and I still think there's a lot of opportunity for creating finance videos. It's still at a relatively early phase, even though it's been about 3 years into this finance YouTube phase that there's probably a couple thousand finance YouTubers now. I still think there's a lot of room for a lot more people. So if you want to start a channel, I would recommend doing it for 2021. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you found some value in it, and I'll see everybody in next week's video.